Hello guys, KaiZerZan here, back with another video. And in today's video we'll be taking a look at the new operation mode, A Light in the Dark, which is the second event for our Halloween season here on World of Warships Legends. Alright, so for this video, this will be just a quick guide on some tips and tricks that I would like to share with you to help you achieve that 5-star a little easier, and hopefully some of these tips and tricks in this guide will help you to just improve your gameplay overall within this mode and have a little more fun. Alright, so before we get any further, I'd just like to quickly go over the commander that I'm using on this specific cruiser. It's a Victor F. Einstein with a very aggressive build, and I just prefer him over the new commander for the cruiser just because of the turret traverse, but that's the only reason. Alright, so let's get into this guide. This match will be playing in the background while I go over some tips and tricks that I found very useful for myself and that I've heard other players recommend as well. Alright, so yeah, the first thing I would recommend here is to obviously play in a 3-man division with a mic and a communication between the 3 players. So then at least you have 3 out of the 5 players on the team communicating with each other, so you can relay critical information and just get that coordination going on between the players. Alright, so I would recommend a division of 1 battleship, 1 cruiser, and 1 destroyer, but you can also use 2 cruisers, 1 destroyer, 2 destroyers, 1 cruiser. I would not recommend more than 1 battleship, as I feel the destroyer and the cruiser are a lot stronger than the battleship. So at least from my perspective, that's not the way I would go. Alright, so remember for this mode, I'll quickly go over the things you need to complete to get a 5-star. Is you need to have at least 2 of the towers, of the 3 towers, standing healthy at the end of the the match here. You need to kill Rasputin, you need to kill the enemy aircraft carrier, the Gorgon, and you also need to escort Transylvania safely, and then you need to kill 22 ships of these enemy ships within this green smoke, the filth, so that you can get those 5 stars. Alright, so then I would like to start off by going over some of the tips and tricks that I found useful on the destroyer. First off, I would just like to point out that the destroyer is the best class of ship between the 3 to stay within the filth, the green smoke that you see. Because if you're inside the filth, you take some damage over a long period of time. You take a little bit of damage. So the destroyer is the best one because it has the highest speed to zip in and out of the filth if needed. And also you can use your engine boost on the destroyer to heal up some extra health if you're inside the smoke. The filth here, while your engine boost is active inside the filth, you heal a portion of your health back. So that's a very nice thing to keep in mind when you're being focus fired by secondaries or by main guns from the enemy ships, just to disengage and get some health back. Alright, the other thing I would like to recommend for the destroyer is just to spam torpedoes as much as you can. Every torpedo reload you get, you send out those torpedoes. And that brings me to the next point for the destroyer is the destroyer is the best ship between the 3 to go and spot the aircraft carrier, the Gorgon, as the Gorgon spawns within the smoke almost every match, and Rasputin spawns outside of the filth. So while the destroyer is inside the filth, he can go and locate the Gorgon and then spam torpedoes at the Gorgon to try and get him down as quickly as possible. Also keep in mind the destroyer has a reload booster that you can also use to get as much torpedoes out of the Gorgon and finish off the Gorgon as quickly as possible. Alright, and then the last thing I'd recommend for the destroyer would be to stay unspotted for as long as you can. Don't use your guns out in the open, you will be focused by the enemy ships and you will lose a lot more hit points than you can heal on your engine boost. So yeah, only fire your guns if it's absolutely necessary or if you can quickly kill one isolated ship. And the rest of the time, please do try and remain unspotted in the destroyer. At least from my perspective, I found that if I remain unspotted and just send out torpedoes, I survive a lot longer and I can contribute more to the team. Alright, next up I'll quickly like to go over some of the things, tips and tricks on the enemy or on this friendly cruiser that you can use in this game mode. But yeah, the first thing I'd like to point out for the cruiser is to try and Keep the guns firing every reload that you get. Keep those guns cycling, fire as many AP and HE salvos as you can. If the ship is nose in, shoot HE. If it's broadside, shoot AP. Standard cruiser play there. One thing I found very useful in the cruiser is if you try and flank enemy ships, try and get their broadsides. Stay on the border of the fourth, maybe inside, maybe outside, swap between the two. And if you find broadsides of ships, just hammer them with the good AP that this cruiser has. And also remember, you have a main battery reload booster. Now, if you use your main battery reload booster and you do some damage to enemy ships with the reload booster, you will heal that portion of damage that you deal to enemy ships. You will heal that back as health. So if you're low health, pop that main battery reload booster, fire on some enemy ships and get that health back. It's a very useful thing to keep yourself alive if you run into some trouble. Alright, next will be the radar consumable on the cruiser. The radar is very useful if you want to spot some enemy ships and figure out where they are, and also spot for your team, because I think the radar consumable for this mode is 15-kilometer ship detection, which is absolutely fantastic. So that's a very nice thing to use, and I would also recommend only use the main battery reload booster and the radar if you're close enough to spot ships. Don't use it if you're out in the open on the one side of the map trying to get back in. You'll just waste the consumable. At least for the reload booster, there needs to be people that you can shoot if you want to use it effectively. Alright, yeah, that way you will maximize your damage output on the cruiser. And also, if you can in the cruiser, prioritize hitting enemy destroyers, the ghouls, based on the Benson class. Yeah, try and get those destroyers out as possible, because they will torpedo your battleships, your cruisers, and your friendly destroyers as well. So try and remove those pesky little destroyers as quickly as you can. Alright, next up will be the battleship. Some tips and tricks I found useful on the battleship is to stay close to the Transylvania most of the time if you can. And the battleship also I'd recommend stay outside of the filth. Don't go inside and take damage unnecessarily. The battleship is best suited when being the damage tank of the team, so that the enemy battleships, the Vargs, and the cruisers will constantly focus on the battleship instead of the other ships on your team, so that you can damage tank for them and use that large hit point pool as effectively as possible. Alright, so yeah, then next up for the battleship is it's a turrets, so you have torpedoes. Use them as best as you can. When enemies are too close for comfort or they're within range, torp them if you can. And also the heal on the battleship is very, very, very nice, especially if there are more allied ships within the radius of your heal. When they are close by, you can heal a lot more health back per ship, and all the ships receive that same heal if they're within the circle. So that's a very nice mechanic. If your cruiser or other battleships or other destroyers need to quickly heal up, get close to the battleship pops that heal, and then the battleship can quickly heal up the team there. So it's a damage tank and a healer, a very nice ship to have within the division as well. Alright, and then yeah, the invincibility skill on the battleship that makes you immune to incoming fire and ram damage, but you do take flooding damage and fire damage. Now this is a very unique skill. If you get focus fired on the battleship and you want to quickly heal up, or you want to disengage or not take any more damage if you're very low health, pop that invincibility skill as often as you can to try and reduce incoming fire as good as you can, minimize the incoming fire. Now the other important thing I'd like to mention with the battleship is, of course, with that invincibility skill, you are capable of ramming Rasputin. Just pop that invincibility skill before you ram Rasputin, just before contact, and then you will be able to do a significant amount of damage to Rasputin without taking any significant damage in return. You'll probably only get a flooding, but you can put that out quickly. But you won't take the ram damage, the significant ram damage if you ram Rasputin, and that also helps the team get rid of Rasputin as quickly as possible without trading your ship for Rasputins. So that's a very important thing to keep in mind as well. If the Rasputin spawns, the battleship will be able to abandon Transylvania for a short time and go ram Rasputin and then come back closer again. So that's a very nice thing to help the team get rid of Rasputin as quickly as possible. Alright, now that brings me to the end of the ship-specific tips I would like to give. I would just like to also point out some of the key features here that the cruiser's AP is extremely useful at sniping the broadside scarabs, the enemy cruisers. Very nice for one-shotting them, or at least within 2 reloads, get rid of them quickly. Also, the AP on the cruiser is very good at killing destroyers as well. So don't wait until you're, or don't, yeah, switch a full AP reload to try and load HE to kill a destroyer. The AP also does amazing work. And aim for superstructures on the battleships, as you can see here in the background video on this Varg. Try and hit for upper armor belt and a superstructure to try and get rid of him as quickly as possible. And then the main important thing here is communication between the different classes of ships in your division. Whatever combination you take, do communicate with each other. Communicate where is the Gorgon. Try and spot him. Try and focus him. Same with Rasputin. Communicate with the position of the enemy ships, closest one to the towers. Prioritize those so you can protect the towers as best as possible. And also just try and have fun while you're in this mode. Of course, it was built to have fun in, to try and shoot as many enemy ships and have a great time doing it. Also, do keep in mind that this is not an easy mode. It's, in my opinion, a lot more difficult than the previous mode, the Saving Transylvania operation mode. That was a little easier than this one, but luckily, as you can see, in the background match here, we managed to finish off on 5 stars, and our friendly destroyer managed to pull off a clutch torpedo on the Gorgon for our 5 stars there. So that was just some of the tips and tricks I would like to relay. I played solo with random players, and of course, I did not get very far. I would definitely recommend playing in a 3-man division. And as you can see, the cruiser has got a very good damage output, and it's a very fun ship to play in this mode. It's definitely one of the stronger ships within this game mode. Alright, so that brings me to the end of this video. I hope you found some of these tips and tricks useful. Some of the things I mentioned, I hope they make your hunt for the 5-star a little easier. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, and if you want to see more videos like this, more guides, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Auf Wiedersehen.